right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith, here alone for a solo interview episode with our good buddy Dave DuFour. John and Chuck will be back later in the week for the full Fast Break Breakfast episode. The new year has started. Very exciting. I wonder if there's any new changes in your lives. Things are a little different for me. The youngest baby started daycare a few days a week, so hopefully getting podcasts won't be so devastatingly stressful. Should be a lot easier. Maybe we'll see some new things open up over here at Fast Break Breakfast. I'm going to put this one out on Monday afternoon, a little bit different, ahead of the Grizzlies-Pelicans game on Monday night. The famous rivalry, the Riverboats Captain's Belt for Pride and Glory and Dominion of Mississippi rivalry game. The loser of which will be in 14th place in the Western Conference. Not great as the Grizzlies continue to skid out. I mean, technically the Pelicans are already in 14th place, but they're hoping to rally behind the return of Elfrid Payton. Grizzlies keep floundering, keep putting up crazy lineups. Dave and I talk a little bit about it, about JB Bickerstaff, about the weird organization, about Chandler Parsons finally getting pushed away from the team. I don't feel like anyone's been talking about it, but it seems obvious. There was that Garrett Temple-Omri Caspi fight. It got leaked. And then days later, that was the final straw. Chandler Parsons is out. Like we were saying, Parsons is the leak. He was the guy announcing that Austin Rivers is coming because they're buddies, even though that didn't happen. Seemed like Chandler Parsons was definitely the guy hooking Shams up with those reports, and now he's no longer a Grizzly. Talk about that with Coach Dave. Also talk about the Timberwolves, the Timber Bulls, Tom Thibodeau, all that weirdness, and some other just random NBA stuff. So I hope you will enjoy that. If you want to support our program, you do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. You can join us over there, get involved with the pigskin. Get involved with the pick'em, where we pick against the spread for monthly prizes. You can join the Slack chat. And you can just join the community over there where we do lots of fun stuff, like play in the Negative Fantasy League, the iShop League, hosted by Fantrax.com, which I am currently still dominating. Yes, I invented the scoring formula, so perhaps I had a leg up, but things are going real well for my team so far. But anyway, you can support us at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. Also, if you're buying tickets, go to SeatGeek.com. Use our code FASTBREAKBREAK, same as my Twitter handle. FASTBREAKBREAK will give you $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Anything you're going to, if it's comedy, music, NBA, NHL, maybe an NFL playoff game this weekend, use that code FASTBREAKBREAK at SeatGeek, and you'll get $20 off your purchase. All right, let's talk some basketball with Dave DuFour. My guest today is the host of the Nerder She Wrote podcast on the Count the Dings network. Moved on up to the big time. That's right. It's our buddy, Mr. Coach Dave DuFour. Dave, how's it going?
It's going great. Hey, you also you forgot about the Daily Ding.
The Daily Ding. Are you a peer? You host, co-host of the Daily Ding? Nice.
Yeah, Zach Harper and I, we take turns. Although he does it more days than I do usually, just because he's on the West Coast, man. I can't be recording at like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. What is the big time like, Dave? Let us know.
I don't know. I'll let you know when I get there.
Okay. Well, right before I read your intro, we were debating there's the one-way mirror. Since my video, when I do video on my laptop, which is this piece of garbage MacBook, which should be doing better, I think it might be a lemon. It doesn't, like the audio recording in GarageBand, fails.
Is it a MacBook Pro?
It is it might not be a Pro, but it's like 2 years old.
Yeah, but if you've got a regular MacBook, it really is not suited for those sorts of
I feel like it should be able to run GarageBand and Skype at the same time. That's all I feel. I feel like it should be able to do that. No problem.
Yeah, there are better apps out there for what you're trying to do that aren't as taxing.
Yeah, this is a MacBook Pro, Dave.
It is.
No, it's a MacBook Pro. I think it might be, honestly, I think it might just be like a lemon. I feel like it should, or there's some weird setting.
Because on my MacBook Pro, I can not only record a podcast, be on Skype, have video on Skype.
Yeah, you should.
I can also then put out the video and publish it to the internet live. So like on Periscope.
That's what should be happening on an expensive computer.
Yeah, so you might have a lemon.
Anyway, we were discussing. So you wanted video. If you did video, I did no video. That would be like the one-way mirrors. And then we were debating: is a regular mirror one way? I say it's a no-way mirror.
I get that point, but I'm saying if I sit and think about it, it could be a one-way mirror, depending on how you feel about it.
Well, there's
right?
are there two-way mirrors?
Well, a two-way mirror would just be a window.
You would see a reflection, but you'd have to see a reflection.
Hang on. Would a two-way mirror be like a tinted glass? So like mirrored glass. Does that make sense?
I tell you what I don't like. There's one of the casinos in Las Vegas. When you're washing your hands, there's a mirror, but it's not like a continuous mirror, and it's like a mirror open pane. So you can get startled, especially if maybe you've been drinking at the casino and you go in there to the bathroom, you wash your hands, you look up, and there's someone. It's not you. If you just look like off to the side a little bit, it's like a mixture of mirrors and not mirrors, and I find it very disconcerting.
Yeah, I don't really go into the casinos when I'm in Vegas.
That's because you're professional, Dave. You're in the big time. Let's talk about basketball after we talk about your breakfast. Did you have breakfast?
No. Look, man, jeez. I don't do it. Intermittent fasting. I actually, you're interrupting what was going to be my lunch.
Yeah.
We're going to record, and then I'm going to go eat leftover mojo pork from my Cubano dinner party I had the other night.
That sounds like a breakfast.
Well, it is. It's going to be a breakfast, but it's lunch. So it'll be mojo pork and cauliflower rice with a lot of hot sauce and avocado.
Sounds wonderful. That sounds like a perfect breakfast, Dave. Thanks for bringing that to the table. Let's talk about the Timberwolves, who have fired their coach and their president, GM. Well, I don't remember all of his titles. Tom Thibodeau is out in Minnesota after a resounding victory. Is this the right move for the franchise? Does it really matter if Glenn Taylor's still there? What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
who knows?
Like, I got that notification yesterday, and like everyone, I was surprised that it happened.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Right.
If it had happened a week before the season started, would not have been surprised. If it had happened immediately after the season ends in April,
right,
I would not have been surprised. But yesterday, after beating the Lakers by 22 points in LA, like that's the thing. That the only surprising part is the time that they chose to actually fire him. It just doesn't make any sense. I cannot wrap my head around it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pay this guy to stay home.
Yeah, I love it.
And then you're going to have an interim coach. You're essentially saying, all right, well, there's no chance we're going to make the playoffs. It's not going to happen. You're going to have an interim coach who, by the way, Ryan Saunders probably should just wind up being the head coach because it's going to happen eventually anyway. So just go ahead and do it. And then you're going to – it seems like you might bring in Hoiberg to run the front office. So, it's just – I don't know, man. It's weird. I guess just get it over with. That's fine. Don't waste the rest of the season on something that is clearly a failure and a failed partnership. But I'm not surprised that he was fired, just mostly by the timing. And whether or not it's good for the Wolves, I don't know. They're one of these franchises that just cannot seem to get out of their own way.
Right.
So is anything actually good for them? I mean, they got Karl Anthony Towns. Well, has that been good for them? Sort of.
Yeah, I think the timing thing is really hilarious when the reports are it might be because Fred Hoiberg is being rumored to some coaching jobs, and perhaps Glenn Taylor's like, oh, I got to fire Tibbs now so I can bring in Fred Hoiberg, continuing the incredible Timber Bulls run, almost to the point where it feels like there should be an intervention. Like Bobby Portis, when the firing went down, he Instagrammed like RIP Timberwolves. It's like, no, they're going to bring in Hoiberg. The circle of life, or whatever the circle is, the circle of Timberwolves apparently will never stop.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, please.
Is Tibbs done?
Yeah, no, he's not going to.
Do you think he'll be an assistant? He could be Ron Adams for somebody.
I mean, some team will hire him because he's got a big enough name. I mean, he would have to take a steep discount to come work for the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't think they're paying. I mean, maybe he would do it if he's double dipping.
He's still going to be getting paid by the Wolves.
Do the Wolves, when you fire a coach, do you have a non-compete there? Does he have to stay out of the game like Chad Ford on ESPN or whoever
I think those are just guaranteed deals. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I don't. Would he help on the Grizzlies? I don't know. No, we talk about the Timberwolves being out of the playoff race, and we have crossed them off on our show. But honestly, technically they're in it. They're still, since the Jimmy Butler trade, the Timberwolves are 7th in net rating. They're 10th in defensive rating since the Timberwolves trade. They're 14-11 when Jeff Teague plays. This team is above 500, which is almost the cutoff for being in the playoff race when they have Jeff Teague and since the Jimmy Butler trade. So it seems like they could hang in it. I mean, they've looked pretty good with Robert Covington out there and with Cat going Super Saiyan the last couple weeks. Like it seems like they're still in the race. Was this all about getting Hoiberg back, or this? He's bad for business. We can't sell season tickets because of people don't like the Thibodeau.
I don't know. I mean, who's going to buy season tickets to see the Timberwolves?
I don't know. Who buys Timberwolves? Who buys? I mean, that Karl-Anthony Towns is so good. You got Derrick Rose, who's going to get voted into the All-Star game, so he's popular. Can Derrick Rose stands buy season tickets?
Hold up. Are they flying over from China?
I don't. Is that where the vote's coming from?
Yeah, he's really, really, really big in China.
Okay. I don't know. Is the resale market soft? Maybe they could buy some season tickets from sell them on StubHub.
Just move the Wolves to China. Let's do that.
That would be tough for scheduling.
Seriously, you look at Andrew Wiggins, his lack of development. That's an organizational issue as much as it is an Andrew Wiggins issue. Karl-Anthony Towns, I mean, I'd argue that his development is kind of stalled.
Yeah.
I mean, he's having a good month right now, but as I've been reminded constantly, he does this every year where he has this really good month and then that's it. So I don't know, man. I hate to say it. They're just not a good franchise. I don't see any end in sight to this terrible cycle that they're on.
On our last show, we were debating if you swapped Karl-Anthony Towns and Nikola Jokic, how different would those teams look? And John and I both thought that Jokic's role as a playmaker would have a bigger lifting impact on any team, even though we think Karl-Anthony Towns often, like maybe he's the more talented offensive guy. What do you think? What's your opinion? If you swapped Jokic and Towns, would the Wolves be better with Jokic? Would the Nuggets be worse with Towns?
Are we saying just today or for their entire career?
I'm saying sure. Right, this season for
today. Yeah, I think Jokic makes the guys around him better than Karl-Anthony Towns does.
But I mean, also, I don't know how many of those Timberwolves guys are ready to cut and score efficiently with the basketball around him. Like, I could see Jokic just holding the ball and being like making a little head motion to Wiggins, and Wiggins what, bro? What does that mean?
It's the team. The team was built. So the Nuggets they built around Jokic, right? Like they also have schemed around him. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. These kind of things are so tough. But I think that if Karl-Anthony Towns had been drafted by the Nuggets, you'd be seeing a much different Karl-Anthony Towns. They've done such a good job of player development.
You think the culture of the Nuggets?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, obviously the Nuggets hitting on, Jamal Murray and Gary Harris coming along, even like a Juancho Hernan-Gomez, Jokic in the second round, finding Monte Morris. What a steal. But the reverse opposite, poor Timberwolves, a sad, sorry franchise, much kind of like I'm a big Grizzlies fan, and it feels embarrassing to be a Grizzlies fan, even though I can point out the Grizzlies are like the 8th most winning franchise in the last decade in the NBA. I feel embarrassed almost at a high clip with the Grizzlies. Most recently, news coming out that we're headed towards an ugly divorce. Chandler Parsons, no longer our beloved betrothed. He's going to be kept away from the team. How does this look outside of my bubble, Dave, where all I am is Memphis Grizzlies?
I don't know, man. I think that if he's healthy,
Well, that's a ridiculous statement, but go ahead.
I get it. I'm just saying, if he's healthy, it seems like this is a team that would want him to play. They could use him. But that's the issue. Is he healthy?
I have never seen a Parsons in his 2.5 years on the Grizzlies that I think would play over even JaMychal Green. Definitely not Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, he can only play the 4. He can't play the 3. There's no healthy Parsons out there that can play the 3 in the NBA at all. On opening night, who was it? Oh, it was Bojan Bogdanovic. Dunked on him twice, I think. Like, it was horrifying.
It's really good. Hold on now. Well, you make it seem like it was like Ron Baker that did that.
Oh, R.I.P. Ron Baker. Cut today by the Wizards. What a great contract. No, Bojan Bogdanovic does not dunk, and I think he just back cut him twice and just yammed on the Grizzlies, and I was like, what in the world are they doing? But anyway, so I would rather play JaMychal Green, Omri Caspi, or Jaren Jackson Jr. over Chandler Parsons, even if he's at the picture of peak health we maybe saw some of last year, where he hit some shots. He did his crazy slow-mo pump fake drive towards the bucket to create. I don't think he helps the Grizzlies whatsoever, even with healthy. So I don't think this was a big deal. Is there any team out there he might help if he's actually healthy? I don't know. But what team is going to sign him, Dave? Like, what team?
Nobody.
No team is going to give him a contract.
No, he's going to China with Michael Carter-Williams and Melo. They're going to go form a super team.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I just think he's done, and he was an okay player at one point. I mean, obviously he got paid, which is great. But injuries, they're a bitch. They do this. It's what happens. We're not used to seeing these type of injuries anymore because surgeries are just better and stuff like that. But I mean, he's not a player of T-Max caliber, but it's the same injury that killed his career. Once you have microfracture surgery, it's over. Nobody comes back from that.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I mean, it sucks. I hate to see a guy, who wants to play. Clearly, he wants to play from the reports.
Well, that's his reports. He has said he even wrote a ridiculous Players Tribune thing where he's like, I understand there's no words I can say. I have to prove it on the court. And so the Grizzlies are like, all right, cool. Can you play a 3-game homestand with the hustle to prove it on the court? He's like, nah. Which if I'm him, I wouldn't do it either because he would get embarrassed by the G League players. That's my opinion. He would, I think, get toasted by G League players. So
maybe he's a center.
Just a stretch 5, man.
He's the 5. He's a 5.
He couldn't hurt the Grizzlies at 5 any worse than Joakim Noah. That guy. I'm freaking out over JB Bickerstaff. Do you have any opinions on him as a coach? I feel like he might be the worst Grizzlies coach ever, worse than Mike Ivoroni. That's where we are at in my household. Because the Grizzlies are rolling some crazy lineups out there. They keep playing 2 bigs against teams without 2 bigs, saying they're like, we're going to grit grind. We're going to go into the grain. And it's like, well, that's fine, but Davis Bertans is destroying JaMychal Green. What's best case scenario JaMychal Green does to a smaller guy? He doesn't do much out there.
Yeah, I don't really want to draw the ire of any former video coordinators that may now be in media, but Bickerstaff sucks. I mean, he's just not a good coach.
Yeah,
and clearly now he has good relationships.
Right?
That's good. People like him.
Seems very likable.
But he might just be an assistant coach. And that's fine. There's this idea that you're trashing someone by saying that they're good at one thing and not other stuff, right? Like being a head coach it's kind of like being a CEO. You don't have to be the best X and O's guys because you can hire a really great X and O's guy. You don't even have to be the best relationship guy because you can hire a good relationship guy. What you got to be good at is managing personalities, overseeing the whole game plan, and having a big vision. And that is what is missing right now. Jaren Jackson not closing games. Listen, I know he fouls like crazy, but he might be your best player.
He very well
Marcus Gasol is very good still, but Jaren Jackson he's incredible.
Right.
He's not going to get any better sitting on the bench in those moments. You just need to play him. Like he needs to play 36 minutes a game. That's it. Anything less than that? No, man, you're garbage.
It's why
this is a team, and part of this is organizational.
Well,
trying to make the playoffs in a year when they shouldn't.
See, I disagree with people there.
I'm just saying, listen, it's not coming together. They didn't have the offseason that they should have had. It's cool that, they were able to turn last year, which was a lost year. Okay.
Yeah.
With the injuries, they were able to turn that into Jaren Jackson. And now you come back and you try to compete, but you don't have the squad for it. And you screwed up your coaching search.
Well, that's the big one. Yeah.
You didn't have a coaching search.
Yeah. I mean, I've said that several times. I think people who listen to our show know I am all for we can try to win 38 games. That's great. We're going to give our pick to Boston, assuming we don't luck out and win the lottery. And that's perfect. But the mismanagement of the talent on the team, when it's like, oh, you actually had a good offseason. Like Kyle Anderson, he's great. And Jaren Jackson Jr. is phenomenal. And then to continually not play him in the last game against the Spurs, Jaren Jackson Jr. played 10 minutes in the first half. During the 14 minutes he was not in, they were outscored by 20. And it's like every game is like that. And it's I've risen to an ire I didn't know I still had for basketball. I'm like, you know what? That's not great. I wish they did this. But watching these guys over and over and over, watching Joakim Noah, who is literally murdering the team. He had two great games, for him, running on adrenaline his first 2 times out. And since then, it's just been hemorrhage points. And then putting Javon Carter out there with Joakim Noah. There was a Javon Carter, Joakim Noah pick and roll last game. And I was just like, what? What's your best case scenario there? Same thing. What, Javon Carter, he's got no moves. I'm fine. Let's play him. But I'm lost. Much like the Timberwolves, I would like to see some changes, but what's the point? What's the point while Chris Wallace and JB Bickerstaff are still running the show? What's the point for the Timberwolves if Glenn Taylor's still calling the shots? We were in a group message, and you were saying they should trade Gasol, or they should trade Conley. And I legitimately worked as hard as I could. Here's the only feasible trades I could imagine for Marc Gasol to the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte decides they want to solidify making the playoffs. Cody Zeller's out for a little bit. I thought maybe if Charlotte would give up their first round pick this year, and the Grizzlies could take on, and this is not a good trade for either team. I want to point that out right now. Charlotte would give up Bismack Biyombo, so they'd get off his salary, and they'd send over the foreman Frank Kaminsky. Those could go to the Grizzlies. Gasol could go to the Hornets for this year's first round pick from the Hornets. The Hornets might do it and even hope Gasol opts out. And then they've gotten rid of the Biyombo salary. Or if he opts in, they're like, fine, we're trying to make the playoffs with Gasol and Kemba Walker. That kind of makes sense to me. Other than that, I can't think of one. I thought maybe the Wizards, if the Wizards crazily wanted to get Marc Gasol to get off Otto Porter's contract, just to try to clear up their contracts in the future. Otto Porter to the Kings, you send Kufus and Zach Randolph homecoming to the Memphis Grizzlies to match salary, and then Gasol to the Wizards. I think the Kings in that situation could send a first round pick to the Grizzlies, and maybe the Wizards would send a second. I feel like that's only possible scenarios you could trade Marc Gasol for anything, and either one I would not do as a Grizzlies fan. What do you think as someone who's been a proponent of trying to trade Marc Gasol?
I mean, do you think he's going to opt in with Memphis?
I would be super surprised if he does not, just the way his personality is, and this is his home and all that. It seems like in the echo chamber of Twitter, people are turning on him a little bit in the Grizzlies Twitter world, and maybe he decides he wants to go play somewhere else. Maybe he wants to go play with his brother Powell in San Antonio for undermarket.
So he's going to make what, 36?
No. I think it's 25.
Okay, 25. All right, so $25 million.
Yeah.
So if he opts out, you think he could get a guaranteed contract of more than $25 million?
I don't know.
Not a year, right?
Yeah. He could easily. Someone will give him 2 year $40. I think on the low end.
Exactly, and that's probably better than just taking the 25, right, for one more year.
Right.
I would guess he could probably get somewhere like 3 for 18 per.
Oh, I would say easily, because I don't think he's going to decline. I think when you look at his brother,
it's the injury stuff, though.
But like he's had injury stuff, but he's been pretty healthy the last couple seasons. And it's like, I mean, last year, he was hurt, but then they purposely shut him down. Like he played the whole year, So I think on the low end, a team would pay at least $20 million a year. I would guess, but
okay. But even if it's 18, that's a better deal for him than opting into the 1 year.
Yeah.
And so that's my point about him opting out, is I think he's going to opt out. That's my guess. I have no inside info on that, but that's my guess.
It does make sense. But as far as like, when I say I don't think he would leave, I would be surprised if he left. I'm like 85% sure he'd be a Grizzly next year.
Do you think he's happy there?
I don't know if he's ever.
That's his home.
I think he's happy unrelated to basketball. I just think I think
he's surly when it comes to basketball.
He is surly, and he's always been surly. And I think he was like, rescuing refugees out of the Mediterranean Ocean over the summer. He has this huge life perspective where I don't think he gets too worked up about basketball. I think he's like, my children are in school here. This is great. I have a good life.
Is he a coach killer?
Well, maybe. The Grizzlies are, it doesn't seem out of character for them to fire JB Bickerstaff this season. And then what is that? Is that 5 coaches in 6 years? I should know, but I've forgotten.
You should know. I can't.
Is that Marc Gasol's fault? Is that the front office's fault? I don't think Gasol killed Jaeger. I think Jaeger just wanted to go somewhere else.
Sure. He was trying to go to Minnesota.
Yeah. So did he kill Fizdale? I mean, yes.
Yes.
But I think Fizdale, this is funny. We've been dying on our show because, again, we're like, we thought Fizdale was the worst coach ever. And we're like, wow, I think Bickerstaff is worse than Fizdale. And so it's pretty funny. Dave Yeager's like the best coach in Grizzlies history, and it's insane.
Okay.
Let's wrap up last thing. Pat McCaw got like a sweetheart deal from the Cleveland Cavaliers just to free him from his indentured servitude.
Yeah.
For the Warriors, was this just gamesmanship as to avenge the Cavaliers' loss in the finals to the Warriors? If so, I love it.
I love it.
Is that all it is?
Man.
Is it just front office like screwing with the Warriors?
No, I think it's Dan Gilbert. Maybe it's a little bit of them screwing with the Warriors.
I think that's all it is. I hope that's all it is.
Doing a favor to the agent.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I like that, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know about the restricted free agency rules and how I feel about them. I go back and forth on it because I understand like the team has an investment, but at the same time, I also, want everyone to be able to choose. I want to eliminate the draft. It was. I mean, it's a great deal for McCaw, and if you're a team and you can do a favor for an agent, they will remember that.
Who is it?
But Bill Duffy is his agent. Okay. But I like the I like the idea that that they're just screwing with the Warriors. That's great.
I was joking. I was like, this is better than the 3-1 comeback.
Oh God,
it
might be. I mean, McCaw, for a 10th man? Yeah. I
mean, if the Warriors really wanted him, they could have signed him.
But obviously, they signed him.
The Warriors don't. There's no way. There's no way Pat McCaw's good. I don't think he's going to help anywhere. I think he's going to show up and he's going to shoot 25% from 3 at whatever next team he's on. I mean, I don't. He's like Ian Clark looked better than him on the Warriors, and Ian Clark is not very good. So I don't. I'm not a Pat McCaw believer, but I'm happy to have him prove me wrong. I'm just happy someone freed him just under the guise of sticking it to the Warriors. Finally, someone's standing up to the man.
Yeah, I like that idea. I'm going with that now.
That's perfect.
That's it. In my head canon, that's what happened. Is that the Cavs just said, you know what? Screw the Warriors. We're signing Pat McCaw.
That's right.
I hope they throw a huge offer sheet or not offer sheet, but I hope they try to get Boogie this summer. Just do whatever you can. Throw a max.
It's like
at Clay.
People have to throw these contracts. Some GM has to step up for the good of the league. It's like when you're doing a fantasy basketball auction draft. And you're like, no one's bidding on this guy. Like, or that guy went to this guy went to UNC. I know he's going to pay for so he really likes Marvin Williams. I'm not going to let him have him for $1. I'm going to make him pay $3.
You know what, man? I actually think that that's something that teams don't do enough of, and that's weaponizing their cap space.
I think anytime I feel like Sean Marks can argue he did that for all the number of terrible restricted free agent offers he made to people that got matched.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Like everyone likes to give Sean Marks credit, and now obviously the Nets are doing great right now. I got to give him credit for things going really well for them. But I think he actually wanted Otto Porter. I think Otto Porter's good, but that contract, I wouldn't.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and I think he has chronic health issues. I would not, want if I'm the Nets, I don't want to have him on my salary cap sheet. But
I'll tell you, here's what it is. Sean Marks was weaponizing his cap space, but he was also totally fine with getting those players.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
But the intel on all those guys, except for Crabbe. Now, Crabbe was the weird one.
But, they lucked out by not getting him and then traded for him.
Right. Now, but they wanted Crabbe. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So they wanted him, but ownership in Portland made the call to match. So I think that what they've done is they're selectively weaponizing that cap space, but they also have great intelligence on who is going to match and who isn't. And I think they knew Washington was going to match on Otto Porter all along, and they weakened Washington with that offer.
Yeah, Washington's weak. He should trade Otto Porter to the Kings. Kings match salary to the Grizzlies. Marc Gasol to the Wizards. Little short-term fun, little fix.
Where are you sending Dwight Howard?
Oh, Dwight Howard stays. Dwight Howard's going to be it. Is Dwight Howard playing basketball on the Wizards? Is that going to happen? Is this breaking news, Dave?
No. You know what? I wonder if he'll make it back.
I wonder, I wonder if the Wizards will keep doing the everybody eats thing. They did it a little bit last year before tailing off. People don't seem to remember that they tailed off horribly. They started losing a bunch. I wonder if
then John Wall solved a lot of their problems.
Yeah, it's true. Well, anyway, Dave, I've taken enough of your time. I got to run. You got to run. Where can we hear you next? Daily Ding? What's going on?
I'll be hosting tomorrow's Daily Ding. And, I think we got a Basketball Buds coming tomorrow. Dropping a nerder she wrote later on in the week. We got our LA live show for all you folks listening from LA this Saturday. It's sold out, so it's not like if you don't have tickets and you just found out about it, you could show up.
Well, check that secondary market, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, there kind of is one, but it all goes through like Jade's DMs. But if you're in LA, I'm around, so hit me up. Whatever.
Sounds good, Dave. What is
One more thing.
Yeah.
So, I've been prodded to do this. Make sure if you're not following me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, you can check me out at Dave DuFour NBA. The Instagram is mostly dog content. I will be honest. It's a lot of dog stuff.
Yeah, you guys hit up Dave on Instagram. He's blowing up on Instagram, so he needs to keep that going.
Trying.
There. Well, Dave, I appreciate you coming on. Always a pleasure to talk with you, and I look forward to the next time.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
All right, thanks to Dave. Make sure you follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as he continues to grow his brand. One of the nicest guys in all of NBA podcasting and such. So support him. You support our show at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. Follow me on Twitter at FastBreakBreak, while I will continue to get very angry about the weird lineups the Grizzlies are playing and the fact that Joakim Noah and JaMychal Green playing together is in the 0 percentile for points per possession and effective field goal percentage and a number of other woeful stats. Please quit playing those guys together. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fast break, man. You understand?